Good evening, everybody. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the lands on which we meet this evening. I pay my respect to elders past and present, and I extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples joining us today. We recognise their deep and ongoing connection to music, culture, and storytelling, which continues to enrich our profession and our communities. My name's Monica Zidar and I'm the President of the Australian Music Therapy Association. Welcome everyone. It's my privilege to welcome you here to our Music Therapy Career Information Night. It's wonderful to see so many of you interested in learning more about this unique and rewarding profession. Tonight we'll share with you insights into the training, research and practice of music therapy in Australia and what it means to build a career in this field. I'm delighted to introduce our panel of my colleagues this evening. We have Associate Professor Al Fuller, who is Head of Music at Western Sydney University. We have Associate Professor Jeanette Tamplin, who is Head of Music Therapy at the University of Melbourne. And we also are delighted to welcome two of our recent graduates, Bing Yao from the University of Melbourne and Ollie from Western Sydney University. Each of them brings a wealth of knowledge and lived experience about what it means to study and practice music therapy in Australia. As the Australian Music Therapy Association, more affectionately known as AMTA, we are proud to accredit the master's degrees at the University of Melbourne and Western Sydney University. These programs are internationally renowned, offering students the opportunity to learn from world-leading researchers and to train in supportive evidence-based environments. Graduates emerge as highly skilled clinicians who contribute to communities both here and around the world. For those who may not know us well, the AMTA is the peak professional body for music therapy in Australia. We represent and support registered music therapists, advocate for the profession nationally, and ensure that our practice standards and education maintain international recognition and excellence. AMTA is committed to advancing to the role of music therapy across health, education, disability, aged care and community sectors so that more people can access the benefits of this powerful profession. With that, I'd like to hand over to our panel to share their journeys, experiences and advice for those of you considering a career in music therapy. I encourage you to listen with curiosity, reflect on what resonates and, of course, ask lots of questions. We want this evening to be as interactive and inspiring as possible. Over to you, Al. Thank you very much.
In June this year. So let's jump in and I'll share some of the key information about our program. So within our program, we really embrace the creative, hence the name Master of Creative Music Therapy. We take an intentionally creative approach to training students to become career-ready music therapists, and students develop the knowledge and ability to creatively apply their existing music skills therapeutically for individuals and groups through creative music therapy methods. So we teach across improvisational, recreative, compositional, and receptive music therapy methods. You can choose to undertake our program over 2 years full-time or the part-time equivalent. And the intake is in March each year with no mid-year intake. So students join us for on-campus lectorials. These are 1 day per week, where the emphasis is very much on that collaboration, that peer co-learning, and developing a strong community of practice. We have off-campus online weekly learning activities as well, and also supervision groups, which are small groups of maybe 8 students with a registered music therapist. That takes place on Zoom. So it's kind of this mix of on-campus, off-campus, a hybrid approach. Students also engage in on-campus and off-campus work-integrated learning placements. And all students across both programs have to complete 640 hours of placement across the 2 years. Our on-campus music therapy at Western Centre provides a supportive, practice-based environment for our students, and we engage a consistent learning approach there from our lectorials across to placements. So this is Therapy Space 1 and some of our current students in the observation booth. So they're looking into the therapy space, observing the music therapy session taking place. In addition to our Master of Creative Music Therapy, we have a high degree research program, including the Master of Research and a Doctor of Philosophy program. The development of our music therapy high degree research has very much been led by Associate Professor Alison Short, and we've got this increase of students happening from year to year, mostly music therapy students that are interested in continuing on and doing some research. So across the broader music therapy teaching team, our research and scholarship activities include publications in peer-reviewed journals, book chapters, and non-traditional outputs, including recordings, podcasts, conference presentations, all those fun things. So as far as applications for our next round goes, so it's the 2026 intake, the main round. You'll see here on the screen some important dates, and the main round applications close on the 31st of October. And so applicants who meet the admission requirements, they will then be considered whether they go through to the next stage, the audition or interview stage. And these auditions and interviews are going to be taking place starting on the 24th of November this year. So as far as these application requirements, they are all laid out on the website, and I believe we're going to have the links put into the chat at some stage. But you will know that applicants do have to have an undergraduate degree or higher in one of these listed degrees, but please get in touch if you're not sure if your degree meets the requirements. Applicants also need to submit a 3-page PDF document, and on that document you've got this information for us. So it's a 500-word personal statement explaining the reasons why you're seeking entry to the program, why you want to become a music therapist. Then another 300 words providing information on relevant music and other related experiences or training or qualifications. And then also 3 video links of performances. So as far as the performances go, we'd like to hear one piece, any piece, that demonstrate on your main instrument. So the instrument that you've had the most training in, you're the most proficient with. So demonstrating your skills at an advanced level. And then, and that can be any instrument at all. Then from there, we also need a piece where you're utilizing guitar and voice simultaneously, wherever you're at with your learning, with your progress, with your development, to a competent level on that. And then also another song utilizing the piano and voice simultaneously. So accompanying yourself singing using guitar and accompanying yourself singing using piano. So following this process, we screen, go through all the applications. Then from there, applicants will be contacted if, you're considered to pass on to the next stage. And so in that event, we have these auditions, interviews, and it's very much about expanding or exploring, elaborating on the information from your application. You also will be asked to play some music, and also you might be asked to do some oral skills to demonstrate, your musicianship. So I'm hoping this information has been of assistance. It's been a very quick run through bits and pieces, but we can take some time now to speak with one of our graduates. And also I'm very, very happy for you to email me, Dr. Al Fuller, and that is my email address there on the screen, a.fuller@westernsydney.edu.au. So I would now like to welcome Oliver Young. He's a registered music therapist, and he did the program with us at Western Sydney University in 2022 and 2023. And so Ollie is here to share a bit with us about his music therapy journey. So welcome, Ollie, and thank you for being here tonight.
Thanks, Al. My pleasure.
So, Ollie, you finished up, so you were 2022 and 2023. And so first, I'm just really interested to know what have you been up to since then? What's been happening in your music therapy world?
So I've been busy. I hit the ground running pretty hard after 2023 finished, and I built my own practice, built my own business, and really like cold emailed or cold called a bunch of places. And now after this almost 2 years, I'm at a point where I have 6 or 7 groups a week, and I work with about 13 or 14 individuals. And I'm also now studying a graduate diploma of counseling and psychotherapy. Um, and I've been doing lots of PD, personal development stuff on the side, with the gestaltists and that kind of stuff. Um,
Wonderful.
yeah,
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah, it does sound busy. And that leads into my next question. I guess I'm really keen to can you paint the picture of what a typical, if there is such thing, the typical week, what a typical week might be like for you?
Sure. Um, so I have chosen to work Tuesday to Friday. So I always have Mondays off for supervision and for me to see my own therapist and self-care and do all that kind of stuff. And then the week is, yeah, like the days are fairly long because I've chosen to do that. Um, but yeah, with like 6 or 7 groups, it means that I often do 2 or 3 groups a day, which is quite a lot. And then there'll be one-on-ones peppered out throughout the week. But I've made sure that there's often, as often as there can be, time to sit in the park and read a book in the middle of the day. Time to do some self-care because that stuff's really important.
Wonderful. So do you travel to different locations, different facilities?
Yeah, absolutely. So I work in community mental health solely, and that means that I go to people's houses and I work with them in their own environments, or I go to facilities where they live and I work with them there. I do hire a space in Darlington that I see a few people in. But mo yeah, so it's all mobile stuff.
Fantastic. So, casting your mind back a little bit, coming into the Master of Creative Music Therapy, what was your music background? Where were you, I guess, what areas had you been focusing on as far as developing your music skills before coming into the program?
I played in lots of bands, a lot of them really bad. Um, and I did some singer-songwriter kind of stuff as well, and I was an audio engineer. So I worked in studios and in vinyl reproduction. Um, and so there's quite lots of things to hold there, but it was mostly like rock and roll and guitar and drums and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great. And I guess does that music background, does that has that, held you in good stead for the current work that you're doing in community mental health?
Definitely. I think it really highlights like how flexible the job is, and uh, I've had to learn a lot of. I play a lot of things that aren't rock and roll every day, but um, I guess it's helped me. That's the thing that I love to share, and so it turns out a lot of the people that I work with are older men, And so they come
Mhm.
from a time period where that music is very relevant to them, and I've kind of found myself in this niche.
Mm,
But still, it's always good to be flexible, and yeah, that's
fantastic. Wonderful. Yes, well, I've heard you speak on your work in other settings, and yeah, you're doing incredible work out there in the community. One more question. So this one's around the program, and just wondering what it was about the Master of Creative Music Therapy at Western that has prepared you to be doing the type of work that you're doing at the moment, or whether there's any particular aspects of the program that kind of you remember that stand out to you and that you've used within your work.
Mm. I think the emphasis on practice. There's a lot of emphasis on theory and research as well. That's a huge part of the course. But I think the emphasis on practice and the integration of practice in with theory, like doing lectorials where we'd do some theory for a little bit, and then we break into groups and we'd integrate what we had just learned by doing it. I think and kind of been thrown into the deep end, so to speak, sometimes, and really having to think on your feet, which is what we do as therapists all the time, because we're in this unpredictable world with people. And so I think, yeah, the focus on practice was really, really, really helpful to my practice at least. And placement was pretty amazing. I was paired with some really, really good supervisors, and I think, yeah, being a therapist is very much like a way of being, and I guess having been linked with such great supervisors was really good for my practice. And then to integrate that back into the class with the theory, and then there was lots of research to be done on that as well, which was really helpful. And now I'm a supervisor myself now, which feels very full circle. And so that's really nice to be able to know, like Western Sydney, the degree at Western Sydney changed my life really, and to be still a part of that community is really important to me and really special to me, and I feel really valued to
Wonderful.
be there. Yeah,
Wonderful. And I'm also aware that you are a part of the New South Wales branch of the Australian Music Therapy Association as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So I'm the head of the mentoring program for New South Wales and ACT, and so that's just
fantastic.
yeah, experienced RMTs with less experienced ones.
So good. So when you said you've been busy,
Mm.
you certainly have been busy. So thank you very much. Appreciate that. And thank you everyone for listening in. So I'm now going to hand over to the head of University of Melbourne, our sister program, and with Jeanette Tamplin to share all about what they're up to there.
Thanks, Al. I'll just share my screen. Um, is that coming through okay?
Yeah.
Great to be part of this event. Really happy to be sharing a little bit about our course at the University of Melbourne, and great to see all the questions rolling in and your interest in a career in music therapy. I've been a music therapist now for 27 years, worked in a wide range of settings, including neuro rehabilitation, as well as palliative care, mental health, disability, and special education at various times. Most of my work and the focus of my research has been with neurological populations, so people who've had a stroke or a traumatic brain injury or spinal cord injury or degenerative neurological conditions like Parkinson's and dementia. So a little bit about the University of Melbourne. We have 8 campuses spread across Wurundjeri Woiwurrung, Bunurong, Yoda Yoda and Dja Dja Wurrung lands. And we really acknowledge the contribution of Indigenous knowledges to creative and academic practice. We are really fortunate to have the Faculty of Fine Arts and Music at the South Bank campus, situated in the Arts Precinct of Melbourne on Wurundjeri Woiwurrung lands, just 2 stops down from Flinders Street Station, and really immersed in the arts world with lots of music performance venues, theatres and art galleries all around us. Conservatorium of Music is Australia's oldest and most prestigious music institution. And a few years ago in 2019, we relocated from Parkville down to a new 9-storey Ian Potter South Bank Centre, which has amazing performance venues, beautiful teaching spaces and practice rooms, and panoramic views, which are great. So here is our fabulous team of current music therapy teaching staff. We have a large group of academics teaching into the course and bringing their practice wisdom from many contexts, clinical contexts and approaches. So I don't have time to tell you about each of these wonderful people, but you can scan the QR code in the top corner there if you want to read more about them on our website. And also we have an additional group of research-only music therapy staff and a current cohort of around 15 PhD students as well. These are some of the publications from our team. So you can see, you know, significant contributions on an international level to the music therapy literature. And these are some of the books that have been published over the years. I've now got a little 30-second promo clip about the course, so I'll just play that and let you have a listen.
I decided to study the Masters of Music Therapy so that I could support more people in the society.
We are trained to support people, explore how music can make different connections and how music can support well-being.
Students get the opportunity to do a placement in industry with a qualified supervisor.
You will learn a lot. There are heaps of treasures are waiting for you to explore.
All right, so that's our little promo clip for the course that which we made last year. I thought I'd also share with you the mission for our program that at the University of Melbourne. We thought about this as a lot as a team about what we're contributing to the profession of music therapy in Australia. So we're really striving to support our students to develop a compelling level of knowledge about music therapy, both with the literature and to develop advanced practice in music therapy methods and techniques, and to deeply understand the evidence base, the research base for music therapy across the lifespan. We want our students to commit to ethical practice and to partner and collaborate with people in addressing their needs. And from this basis, we support our students to develop their own musical strengths, to be collaborative, person-centered, solution-focused, strengths-based, and to advocate for better access to music and music therapy, and to align with anti-oppressive practice. So we have quite a critical social justice emphasis in our course that is very much geared toward inclusion and diversity. And we really envisage that our graduates will continue to develop their ethical practice in music therapy and forge new pathways for music therapy in Australia and beyond. Our course is a master's degree, similar to the Western Sydney course, involves 2 years full-time or 4 years part-time study. And we have a mixed attendance mode. So that means we have a combination of online learning materials plus on-campus or online tutorials and intensive days on campus. The course is available to domestic and international students, and we have a start of year intake. So we offer the course in 2 cohorts. So we have our group of Melbourne-based students, and if you're based in Melbourne, this is what your mixed attendance looks like. You will have online learning materials and a combination of on-campus and online Zoom tutorials. You'll also complete 4 placements, 1 per semester. Similar, if you don't live in Melbourne, or if you live in Melbourne and would prefer to study in this format, we have a different option, which is more online. So in this format, the online learning materials are the same, but the weekly tutorials are delivered as live online Zoom classes. And you will need to then attend intensives for 2 days each semester to practice some of those activities that are more difficult to do over Zoom, for example, making music. This was designed for interstate and regional students, but we now make it available to Melbourne-based students if they want to, in recognition that for some people studying at a master's level, they might have family commitments or work commitments that make this course delivery format more accessible for them. So a couple of things to note about our study mode. We don't permit deferrals. It's a very competitive application and interview, so make sure that you apply for the year that you intend to study. And if you get offered a place, you can't defer that place, so be aware of that. We do prefer students to study full-time. Training as a therapist is very integrated and intensive, so it's challenging to split up the training, and we've designed all of our subjects to work together and reinforce the learning in other subjects. We do offer part-time for those that need it, but our preference and recommendation is to study full-time if you can. And it is possible to start full-time, part-time and shift to full-time or vice versa. Full-time study is intense. So if you are thinking of studying music therapy, it's important to create space in your life for this. It's not only a change of career, but also a change of identity when you train to be a therapist, and you really need time to immerse yourself in that process. Important to note that full-time study really does mean 38 hours a week, 2 days of classes, 2 days for placement, and a day for your own study. This is what our study plan and subject outline looks like. So our course is organised into 4 streams. We have a theory stream with one theory subject each semester, a method stream where you learn music therapy methods and techniques. And again, we progressively build up your skills each semester. Then there is a practice subject each semester where you go out into the field and are supervised to become a therapist. And we scaffold your experiences over those 4 semesters so that by the time you graduate, you are ready to practice independently. And then we have a research stream where we introduce you to research design and methods, and you learn how to evaluate music therapy research so you can build your practice on the evidence base. And this also gives you a pathway into a PhD afterwards as well. Just to note that if you study part-time with us, we have a set schedule of subjects. That's because there is a course of learning that makes sense to do in a particular order. So if you're part-time, you won't go on placement in the first year. And we start you off by building up your theoretical knowledge and your music therapy technical skills. We do offer placements, and these are aligned with the AMTA requirements as the accrediting body for music therapy practice in Australia. And Al went through a lot of these details already, so I won't go through, but you can see on the screen here, it's 640 hours in total, 160 hours per semester, which equates to around 2 days a week. And this is how we build up your skills over the 4 semesters. So the first placement is a simulated practicum where we support you to gain foundational skills before you go out into the field with your own caseload. It's very much a supported placement experience with our tutors and experienced registered music therapists in the university environment. And then in placements 2 and 3, you're on site working with a registered music therapist supervisor. And placement 4, also out on site, but this could be supervised by another professional. And we see this as a really great opportunity to create your own job in the field in an area of practice that you feel passionate about while you're still receiving support from the university. All of the placements are supported and vetted by the university because we need to meet our accreditation requirements with AMTA. So please, if you know music therapists in your area, don't approach them to be your supervisor. We need to organise the placements for all students. So as we've already mentioned, you need to have completed an undergraduate degree in order to be able to apply for a master's. Could be a Bachelor of Music, but doesn't have to be. You also need to have completed an introductory psychology subject where you've gained an understanding of human development, and you need to be able to play an instrument at a high level of competency. So your online application will include a video submission of you playing 6 pieces, 3 on your primary instrument and 3 with guitar and voice, and you'll need some referee reports as well. Then if you're shortlisted, you will attend an online interview. We really recommend that you try to observe a music therapist or at least watch some online videos of music therapy and do some reading about music therapy so that you have a good sense of the career that you are hoping to step into. This is a screenshot of our website, and the QR code here will take you directly to the website. And this is what it looks like, but the QR code will be on the next slide as well, same QR code. Applications are open now for the course. They close very soon at the end of the month on the 30th of September for next year. We'll be holding auditions later in October, early November, and making offers in late November. Once you receive an offer, you'll be provided with a timetable, so you'll know then what days and times you'll need to be in class. And if you have further questions, we have a fantastic system at the University of Melbourne. It does look a little impersonal to click on these buttons, but I promise you there is a real person behind the button who knows about the course and is most qualified to respond to your inquiries. So you can register for updates and you can also inquire now. So I might stop sharing my screen now and have a chat with one of our University of Melbourne alumni. Hello, Bing Yao. How
Hi,
are you?
Jeanette.
So, Bing Yao, tell us about your journey. When did you graduate, and what have you been doing since that time?
Yeah, of course. So I graduated in the wonderful year of 2020, and I've had quite a journey with music therapy since I graduated. Um, so lockdown was still quite a thing when I graduated. So I started by doing lots of subcontract kind of work. So similar to what Ollie is doing, so lots of home visits, NDIS, caseloads, but with another private clinic. So yes, I just get my caseload handed to me. I don't have to get my own referrals and stuff like that, which is great for me when I was just starting out. So I decided to move to the regional town of Ballarat because I wanted to get out of Melbourne, and yeah, I just followed where work is. So I went there, practiced there for a year, and later a job opened up at Hamlin View School, which is in another regional town called Geelong, and it's also where I had my first placement when I was studying. Yeah, so I applied for that job and got a part-time 2-day-a-week job. So a year after Ballarat, I moved to Geelong and took up this job, which I'm still having and increased to 3 days a week now. And since last year, I also got a part-time job at a mental health clinic. So yeah, that's what I do now. I don't have too many private clients anymore. It's mostly part-time jobs at the school and the hospital.
Fantastic. Sounds like you've been really busy and you've had quite a breadth of different types of experiences already in your first 5 years of practice. Maybe could you tell us a little bit about what your I guess your working week at the moment looks like? 3 days in a school and 2 days in a hospital in mental health. But what do those days look like and how are they different? Maybe you could share a little bit about what are some things that happen in those two different contexts.
Yeah, for sure. I'll start with the school job. Um, so it's a mix of group sessions and individual sessions. So our school operates based on the school-wide positive behavior system. So there's different tiers of strategies that we use to help our students according to their needs. So for students who require lower tiers of supports, I go in and do music therapy sessions with their class cohort. So mainly to support regulation and social skills, turn taking, using music-based activities. I also upskill teachers in those environments, find music strategies that they could use in their everyday teaching as well. And for students who need more support, I do have one-on-one sessions with them. I just work with them more intensely. To really cater a session to them. And just for those students, I think it's more about really just engagement with the school and making sure that they can engage with their peers and staff at the school and engaging their learning. And for the hospital job, that's group sessions over there. So the first thing I do is a morning walk with whoever wants to go on a walk. That's my favorite part of the day. And in the morning, I have a group with addictive behavior group. So patients who are in there for alcohol and drug abuse. We do a session together. And in the afternoon, I work with a group of patients who are dealing with eating disorder, and I support them post-meal, and we listen to music and do some music games together.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Sounds like a really interesting, diverse, a lot of things that you get to do in your week. What would you say is the best thing about being a music therapist?
I think just, yeah, working with a really wonderful group of people, I think. I just love how passionate they are with music, and how unafraid my students are of sharing their voices and just singing out loud. I think I always find that inspiring.
Amazing. Could you tell us just really quickly, what was your pathway to studying music therapy? What were you doing music-wise beforehand, and maybe a little bit anything that you want to share about your experience of studying music therapy?
Yeah, for sure. So I've studied Chinese traditional instrument called yangqin since I was really young. So that's my pathway into music. Yeah, I never really considered a career in music till I did my bachelor's, when I really decided that this is my passion that I want to follow. And I was researching what kind of pathways, what kind of careers can I make in this area. And that's when I found out about music therapy. So I was lucky in my bachelor's, I could choose what kind of classes that I wanted to take. And I was more focused on psychology side of things, and did more lessons in guitar and singing and piano, because I knew that would be a core skill for a music therapist. And yeah, and then I applied for the UniMelb course, and I got in, and I moved over here, and yeah, I had a really nice time studying it. Um, I think my favorite part of the course would be the placements. I think that's where you really get to learn the most, is when you really get to practice with real clients and real people.
Amazing. So you relocated to Melbourne to study, and you haven't left Australia.
I've made it home here.
Yeah, great. Well, it sounds like you're doing great things. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit about your journey and your experience of practicing as a music therapist. We might maybe jump back to the big panel and open it up for some questions, Phoebe.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for sharing that information about the courses, and Bing Yao and Ollie for sharing, your own journeys with music therapy as well. We have a few questions that have come through, but there are a few around music skills and music background before getting into the music therapy courses. The first is asking about what might a high level of competency be in your first instrument or in music. It's asking specifically in relation to AMEB, but Jeanette and Al, you might be able to speak to this in terms of the audition.
Well, from our perspective, it's possibly the same, but we do say a high level of proficiency, and one marker of that is equivalent to AMEB grade 8. But we also acknowledge that people have different pathways into music therapy, and it's more about experience. Being proficient on an instrument is important, and we don't require any kind of certification to prove that, and we examine that through the interview and audition as well.
Yeah, we're very similar at Western, and we've noted within the handbook we really have avoided trying to put I guess Western grading systems within this, and very similar to what Jeanette was saying. People come to us with from such different pathways, and so we didn't want to kind of lean into those Western grading systems, but so we have tried to help a little bit by saying advanced level refers to the ability to confidently perform your pieces fluently at a high level of proficiency and complexity, demonstrating advanced level of mastery on your instruments. So I know that kind of is broad and leaves kind of maybe more questions than answers, but yeah, we really want to have that diverse cohort of students coming in. So yeah, that's how we kind of detail what we're after.
Yeah, And that's for your first instrument or your main instrument as well.
That's right.
That same level of proficiency might not apply to the guitar or piano, if you're coming to that as a, as
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So if guitar or piano or voice aren't your main instrument, then, a level of proficiency, a level of competency, I guess, is good. But we kind of just go, wherever you're at this time, we need to get a sense of, what your skill level is. But, as long as we can see you're advanced on one instrument, that's really important to us. But yeah, guitar, piano, voice are a real focus within our program. So even if people, aren't highly advanced on guitar, piano, and voice, we just like to see a little bit of that throughout the audition stage.
Yeah. And there were some questions about vocal ability as well. So around what level of vocal ability is needed, or how much focus on vocal ability is there throughout the courses, and also if you have to sing during the audition.
Second one's an easy one. Yes, you do have to sing in the audition. From our perspective, there is a focus on competency using your voice, because you need to use your voice to lead. You need to be tuneful and have, confident sound to your voice. You don't have to be a vocal performer. So we sort of de-emphasize that sort of focus on performance type vocal ability, and really just around confidence to lead vocally, and being able to sing in tune is a very important part of that.
Yeah, that's the same, to be able to hold a tune. And, I guess we're looking to see whether you'll have a go with singing, with the tasks that we set you, and, whether you can pitch match, you can hear a sound and sing that sound, those types of things. But we also are very passionate about having voice majors come into the course. It's only really been, I guess, fairly recently in the history of music therapy that someone who majored in voice as their instrument could actually come and become a music therapist. So we very much lean into that. Voice is my major coming into music therapy training 30 years ago or so. So yeah, I guess as far as voice goes, and as Jeanette said, we use voice a lot within music therapy across the lifespan, across all different settings. So we really do lean into supporting you to develop skills in those areas so that you can use them in your music therapy practice.
Yeah. There's probably another easy question to answer around study. For regional students, can placements be done in a block rather than a couple of days a week?
Yeah, can be done at times.
Yeah, same, definitely.
Great. And then a few around people's own backgrounds. So would a background in education be of benefit for a music therapist?
Yeah, I'm really happy to jump in. So yeah, most definitely. We have people come into the program from all different backgrounds. Yes, definitely education. We have lots of allied health people coming in, occupational therapists, speech pathologists, physiotherapists, all that have strong music skills, of course. Psychology, counselling, nursing, midwifery, a whole range of areas. But yes, most definitely education is a strong entry pathway, and with those strong music skills to go with.
Anything to add, Jeanette?
Nope. I think Al's done a good job on answering that one.
And yes, another one asking around how much integration there is with other allied health services like speech pathology.
In practice, I can't see that question, but
this person is currently doing a Master's of Speech Pathology, but did a Bachelor of Music and Voice, and are interested in integrating the two, from the standpoint of a holistic therapeutic approach.
So I think as a practitioner, we do have quite a few people with dual qualifications, as Al said. Some people come back and retrain as a music therapist when they're come from another discipline. Some people go on to do other disciplines after doing music therapy. It happens in both orders, but I think it's definitely useful to have more than one string to your bow if you want to have that, but it's also not necessary. Like, you can just be a music therapist and focus purely on the music aspect, for sure. And we do work a lot in collaboration in multidisciplinary teams out in practice as well. So we collaborate a lot with speech pathologists just because of that commonality of voice and communication, that also work with physios and OTs using rhythm and to regulate and coordinate movement and lots of different things. So heaps of opportunities for collaboration.
Yeah, music therapists. I find that allied health, or even broader, are always very keen to collaborate with music therapists. It's a wonderful thing that how we can really work together for the benefit for the client, and to this wonderful tool that we have of music. It's just so versatile and so relational, and that we can most definitely work alongside other practitioners, other professionals, very broadly. And we have, I'm very aware of a couple of our graduates that are setting up their own businesses where they really are highlighting, that they're an occupational therapist and music therapist, this particular person. And then another graduate who's maybe graduated over 5 years now, and she's got a very strong practice where, she's integrating speech pathology and music therapy together as well. So it's, we're very biased, aren't we, Jeanette? But it's it's an incredible profession to dedicate yourself to.
Yeah, and similarly, there are some other questions and comments around overlaps or similarities or differences between, for example, counseling and music therapy, looking at certificates in mental health, and also backgrounds in Eastern traditional culture such as meditation, and integrating that with music therapy as well. So I think, like you both said, as music therapists, we're registered music therapists, and we complete the Master of Creative Music Therapy or Master of Music Therapy here in Australia, and are registered with the AMTA. And that doesn't mean that there can't be those dual qualifications or overlap with other areas of therapeutic practice.
Yeah, most definitely.
And maybe just to add on to that, Phoebe, I think the question around the overlap, of course there is some overlap because they're all sort of applied therapy practice training, but the unique thing about music therapy, I guess, and that you can only get in these two courses, is the application of music as a therapeutic modality. So that's the kind of added thing that you're getting from doing music therapy training.
Yeah, and these are the only two courses in Australia that offer accredited music therapy training. This one is interesting. Are music therapists registered in Australia internationally recognised? Would it be possible to develop our career as an Australian registered music therapist? That might mean internationally.
Well, definitely internationally recognised, I would say. And as Monica was saying at the start of the program tonight, definitely well known around the world, and called on to do some really incredible things. I guess we're different countries that have different requirements as far as working as a music therapist goes. Once you complete the program here, you then qualify to become a registered music therapist. You apply through the AMTA and become an Australian registered music therapist. If you're then moving to another country, there's usually a process that you go through within that country to become certified or registered, or to be able to practice, and it's different depending on each country. So it does vary, but you know, I think, you know, Jeanette would be the same, that we support you know, our graduates when they're wanting to do that. We, you know, write letters and fill in forms and all those types of things to support accreditation in other countries as well.
Yeah. And yes, just to clarify, the course at University of Queensland is no longer offered at the moment. And I can't really say that's probably for Monica, who's had to duck off around future plans to try and get additional courses in Australia. But yes, currently Western Sydney Uni and Melbourne Uni are the two courses here. There was one also around the specialisation of supervisors in the course and for placements. This person has asked specifically around neurodiversities and functional neurological disorder, but I know that there are a lot of different placements and a lot of different supervisors with, you know, unique specializations.
Definitely a lot of music therapists working, you know, in neurodiversity space. So that would be absolutely for sure. Functional neurological disorder is, you know, something that's quite specific, I guess. And I know that I've seen people with functional neurological disorder come through the rehabilitation hospital, and possibly in private practice as well. I'm sure, you know, we work with a hugely diverse range of yeah, patients, people, clients.
And I think, Phoebe, maybe just speaking to that as well, that when, you know, setting up placements, we you know, to the best of our abilities, not always possible, but to the best of our ability, we look at best fit. And so, like, if a student has a particular interest in a particular area or availability on particular days, or, you know, we just kind of go, oh, I think they would be fantastic with that registered music therapist. So we, you know, we try hard to work towards that best fit. So if there is a particular area of interest, you know, that we try to work along those lines.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm conscious of the time and that we only have a couple of minutes left, but there are some questions that might be lovely for you to answer, Binyao and Ollie. The first is, what is the most challenging part of the role, and is there anything you wish you knew before going into this area? And then the second was around your own relationship with music and how working as a music therapist might affect your own personal enjoyment of music, or being able to just play and make music for fun. So a challenge and your own relationship with music.
I can start. One thing that I found most challenging that I didn't know before is how much advocacy that I needed to do after starting to actually practice. Because there's still lots of people who don't know what a music therapist can do, and there's still constant education that you need to do with the colleagues that you work with, or patients, or their family and friends. Yeah. So I think that's always a battle that I have to face every day. Yeah, so I would say that's the biggest challenge. In terms of enjoyment, there's the songs that I use at my work are usually the same kind of songs that I play for millions times. So those songs definitely won't be able to enjoy for my own pleasure. But luckily, there's a diversity of different other kinds of music that I could listen to or create. Yeah, actually, just produced an original musical production written by my friend, and that's like very different music to what I would use for work. And I really enjoyed that side of things as well. And there's lots of things I learned from being a music therapist that I've transferred into my own music pursuit. So in that sense, I reckon music therapy actually helped me enjoy music even more.
Wonderful.
And I think in terms of like the most difficult thing, yeah, the advocacy can be pretty exhausting, and it can like kind of lead to like imposter syndrome stuff. I guess for me at least. A difficult thing is also like the admin work, like getting funding and writing grants and that kind of stuff. It's just it's it's a necessary evil, but that's, you know, it's not doing therapy, so it's a bit of a shame. But it's just part of the work. And in terms of, yeah, there are some songs I don't think I'll ever be able to enjoy again. But yeah, as been now said, music is so personal and important to us as RMTs. There's a reason we got into this in the first place. So I just listen to a lot of different stuff. I'm searching for new things all the time now. Lots of minimalist or like ambient stuff as well, I guess. It's just changed the way I think about music. So I still love it, which is really good.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I often feel very lucky that I get to use music in my work as well. So, you know, it might not always be my music, but I'm being introduced to so much more music than I would have been otherwise. And I feel really lucky to be involved in other people's music and that part of their life as well. I know that there are a couple more questions, and some of them are really big questions around, you know, the future with AI and, you know, yeah, things that require a lot of thought. Sorry that we couldn't get to everything tonight, but like Al and Jeanette said, if you do have questions, you can email them directly or go to the course pages. All of the links are in the chat here, and we'll also add them to the AMTA website with a recording of this webinar. So thank you again, Al and Jeanette and Binyao and Ollie for joining us today, and to you all for your interest in a career in music therapy.